Good morning and welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. I'm Jared Floyd. Happy Thursday. We are almost to the end of the week and a lot of eyes turning toward the weekend, so we'll get to all of that in just a minute. We look at, first, a look at temperatures across the region this morning, and most of us are returning to the mid-60s, or at least the 60s. A lot of us were spending mornings in the 70s, so we're back in the 60s today. Some upper 50s sneaking in, too. Camden and El Dorado both at 59 degrees. They were actually even a few degrees cooler than that to start the day. This morning's forecast made possible by the United Way of Northeast Louisiana and their 211 initiative. From food and water to medical assistance, 211 connects you to the most up-to-date resources in your area. Most locations, again, will see a little bit of a warming trend this weekend. Back to near 90 early next week, but let's enjoy the nice days while we have them. And they're in for the next couple of days. Dew points starting to get drier, generally low to mid-60s across northern Louisiana and 50s across southern Arkansas and western Mississippi. But as we go deeper into the day, that drier air continues to win over, and in fact, the air just gets progressively drier as the day moves on. In fact, look at wind speeds across the region. Most of us will be quite breezy this afternoon, but the wind's not much of a factor right now, generally in the 3 to 8 mile an hour range where we're catching a breeze, but I would expect 10 to 15 mile an hour winds with some higher gusts potentially a little bit later today. That's what's pulling all that drier air into the region. There's also a lot of drier air aloft, which will kind of mix down to the surface as we go through the afternoon hours as well. Check the Drought Monitor. This is the updated one. We get one every Thursday, and you can see abnormally dry conditions are starting to return across the region. And with that, it leads to the concern of what we call rapid onset drought, which essentially means that with the prolonged above average temperatures and the prolonged dry conditions, those two could kind of exacerbate and make this worse rather quickly. So we could see that abnormally dry and moderate drought conditions stretch out a little bit faster across the region than we normally would. Same image, but zoomed out a little bit more across the rest of the region. Again, it's worse to our north, where severe drought conditions continue across northern Mississippi, portions of northern Arkansas, southern Missouri, even central and eastern Arkansas, dealing with drought monitor or drought conditions at this point. And also starting to see moderate drought conditions along the Gulf coastline and down through the I-49 corridor, areas like Opelousas and some of the surrounding regions also running drier than we should for this time of year. Becky, good morning. Thanks so much for hopping in. Check of the satellite radar composite this morning. It is quiet, and I would likely expect it to stay quiet as we head through the next 7 to 10 days. The 7-day forecast has nothing on it, and when I mean nothing, I mean nothing. Check a Futurecast made possible by Bayou Power Sports, I-20 Frontage Road in Monroe. Hunting season is upon us, and ATV side-by-sides or even just generators, things like that, keep them in mind, the portable generators and stuff like that if you need one. Take a look at what's going on across the region, and you can see an increase in cloud cover by Friday. Maybe? That's about the only thing that we really run into, and that's just some a weakness in the ridge of high pressure that just kind of brings some cloud cover our way. Could see some additional cloud cover on Saturday, but that's it. That's all we've got for the next 48 to 72-ish hours. We stay very, very quiet across the region. Check out the tropical satellite. There's Jerry making its way toward the northern Leeward Islands, but expected to make, while it's moving off to the west-northwest, expected to make a pretty hard northerly turn as we go through the next 24 to 36 hours. So direct impacts not necessarily toward the northern Leeward Islands, but it'll be a pretty close brush as this storm moves through, but then moving off to the north, and then eventually a hard easterly turn as it kind of finds the outer periphery of this subtropical ridge of high pressure, which is pretty common this time of year. Evelyn, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us down in Vidalia. Most locations, as we go through the next couple of days, are really focused on the prolonged dry conditions. If that doesn't make sense, I don't know what else to tell you, because the lack of rainfall has become our biggest issue across the region. Afternoon highs today, low to mid 80s. Again, plenty of sunshine, rain chances back to 0. A little breezy at times. Again, those northerly, northeasterly winds. I'm telling you, this morning, cannot put words together. Northeasterly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. We're back into the 50s tonight. A lot of areas will see maybe even the low to mid-50s across southern Arkansas and western Mississippi. So we'll call it low to mid-50s. Winds will be out of the northeast. Clear and quiet. One of the coolest nights we've seen in a while across the region. Check of the 7-day forecast made possible by 3B Outdoor Equipment and 3B Ace Hardware. You can check them out in Sterlington. That's where we just picked up our home standby generator from. So if you need one of those 3B Ace Hardware in Sterlington, you can check that out with Matt and the guys. They'll get you squared away, but they have your 7-day forecast. Shows daytime highs low to mid-80s, second half of this week through the upcoming weekend, morning lows mid to upper 50s. But the 90s are back early next week. Now, the caveat with that is 90, 91 Tuesday, Wednesday. Morning lows are still in the low to mid-60s. Again, it is a wide array of temperatures from a very dry environment that will allow you to cool off quickly at night to also a very dry environment that will allow you to warm up quickly through the afternoon. So that's where we run into some concerns and some issues and some headaches in terms of the rapid onset drought conditions. We're well above normal, no chances of rain over the next week, and it looks like most of the month of October will be quite dry. And that's a look at the forecast. That's what we have for right now. I'll keep an eye on any long-term changes. This actually kind of bodes well when you start thinking about what we have going on at the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank, which is made possible 100% free to you by the local businesses that you see there on your screen. And as we've continued to bring more updates on the app and web integrations and stuff like that, Mother Nature has actually been quite kind to us in terms of letting us get this digital weather platform off the ground with limited interruptions instead of just throwing a bunch of chaotic weather at us right off the rip and us trying to kind of stand on our own 2 feet and then also have that happen at the same time. Instead, we've had a month now to kind of get things up and rolling and to see where the flaws are and what we need to fix, what we need to work on immediately. Obviously we've had the app delays, hoping to have that out in the next week to 2 weeks. So that gives us an opportunity to get some other social media auto posts and stuff like that squared away. A lot of things that we want in place for the first time we have big severe weather or winter weather or tropical weather or whatever, and it was going to take time to get those things into place. Now it's looking more and more likely that like a lot of that stuff will be in place by the time we get that first big severe weather threat. I really didn't want to go through a big tornado watch and big severe weather event without the app being live. We've had a few severe thunderstorm warnings and things like that, but we haven't had a widespread threat yet. So here's hoping that we can get all that kind of squared away before the active weather returns to our area. Thanks so much for stopping by the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. You can always check the latest forecast and latest radar. You won't need the radar today, at least not in this area. But you can always check it out at digitalweatherdesk.com. I'll join you later today. Your Too Long Didn't Read later this morning. Your midday forecast. Your Fish and Game made possible by First South Farm Credit. All that stuff headed your way later today. And it's Thursday, so we need to start kind of looking ahead toward high school and college football this weekend as well. Be careful if you're headed east for the Louisiana Tech games. They take on Kennesaw State tonight at 6. Should be a beautiful night east as well. And again, have a great Thursday.